The way we pronounce the name of the band is Nirvana. It's not Nirvana. We were on tour the whole time, and we didn't have time to stop and realize what was going on. And I think that's a blessing in a lot of ways. But just that, when you don't have time to sit down and just think about what's going on, and things happen without you realizing it. Oh, grunge.
Where does the term grunge come from?
I don't know. What is grunge? Don't ask me.
I've heard the term Yoko Ono of grunge come up when people talk about Courtney and Kurt. How do you feel about that?
Well, see, that's the kind of thing that the press would like people to believe, you know? Because Courtney she's not your typical, like, woman in rock, you know? She's not willing to just sort of sit around and shut up, you know? She's very outspoken. And she's not willing to cooperate with the establishment, you know? And that's one of the things that all of us really respect her for. It's because she, you know, she has, she's got a really strong personality that a lot of people just don't understand. And sure, that, you know, if that has something to do with the band, then people immediately just sort of like crucify it as this evil thing within the band. And, you know, people just don't get it. There's definitely some insane bohemian culture going on here with all the coffee and goatees and whatever, pretentious whatever. It's not really my scene. So I just kind of ride around on my go-karts and play drums. It's just kind of stupid because we're just three sort of normal people, relatively normal, I suppose, who just play in a band, and people have sort of turned it into, you know, the godfathers of grunge or whatever, and it's just music. It's just a band. It's no big deal to us, I don't suppose. To a lot of other people, it's flattering that people find it something special, but to us, it's just really the same as it's always been. So. Well, I don't plan on doing it for the next 10 years of my life either. So, I mean, you get to a point where, I mean, there's bands that have been around for 20 years, and it's kind of like, it's great that they're still around, and it's great to see people that have that kind of perseverance or whatever, but it's sort of like there's going to come a time where these bands have to move aside, you know, and let something new come through, because you just can't do it forever, you know, and there'll be a time when it's like, you know, people will be slagging off Nirvana as the...
Oh, they're doing it already.
Oh, well, no, but I mean, as the dinosaurs, you know. I mean, now we're like, people hate us now because we're the new little brats on the scene, you know, and we love to piss people off. So, but there will come a time where it'll be like, you know, oh, we're going to go all the way back to 1993 to a golden oldie, you know, Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's still the three of us, so it's still the same kind of Nirvana songwriting, but it's a lot more spontaneous, and it has a lot, the energy is real, and there's no studio trickery, and there's really no outboard effects or anything to make it other than the sounds of the instruments. And so, I mean, the way Steve Albini records, he just sort of throws up mics and records. So.
What are you the producer for then?
Well, because he knows how to get room sounds. Like, his drum sound is sort of infamous, and so that was one of the main factors in getting him. And plus, he just doesn't, he's not willing to cooperate with any sort of like big business, you know, back padding or whatever. He just sort of records a band, and he refused to talk to our management, and he refused to talk to our label when we recorded. He said, "You guys want me to record you? You pay me, I'll record you. I hand you the tapes, and then that's it." And so that's basically what it was.
Think your marriage is going to ground you?
I hope so. Maybe eventually. I mean, it's not going to stop me from playing music, I know that. But, yeah, it might be.
You're getting all misty-eyed. Look at this.
Well, now I'm looking at the beautiful gray skies and thinking, oh, my wife's at home, my fiance is at home. I think the fact that we never intended to anything like this, you know, we didn't expect anything, and I think that if you got your heart set on being a rock star and you become a rock star, you're a great rock star. You know, you live in a mansion and you marry a model and you you're an asshole, you know? And a lot of cases that's true. If you don't really want to, you know, be in some huge band and things get really crazy, I mean, things get crazy, but it's not really that big of a deal. All it is that there's a lot of attention put on you, and I think in a lot of people's cases it just sort of blows up your head and it makes you feel, you know, like you're really great. And you don't take it as flattering, you just sort of expect that. And so I think the three of us still think it's pretty strange that people find us, you know, pretty special. And I think it's flattering. I think it's really great. I don't fully understand it, but we're still, you know, the same three people that we were then. I can sit here and say that I'll do this for a few more years and then have a normal life. But I know that in 10 years, sure, I'll miss it, you know. There's a lot of things about this that I'll miss. There's a lot of things about it that I'll be glad I don't have to deal with anymore.
What are you going to miss?
I'll miss being on stage with Chris and Kurt, you know, and some of the insane shit that happens when we play. Stuff like that, you know. The good little moments here and there.
Didn't mean like just like the mildew on your shower curtain or something like that. And I think the culprit is Mark Arm, the singer from Mudhoney. I think he kind of came up with that term. I'm not sure, but I know he's regretting it. I think people think we have a really bad attitude, and I think a lot of that was born out of like becoming famous right away. You know, like in January of 1990, I was like hiding in my apartment, living in a Nazi police state with the yellow ribbons and flag waving everywhere. You know what I mean? The whole Desert Storm thing. And then in January of 1991, my band's got a #1 record. And it's just like, I totally like ran away from the mainstream, and now I was like being assimilated into it. And I was really confused and maybe made some statements that were really reactionary, like, you know, or putting our fans down or whatever. Sabbath, man, right on. It was just emotionally appealing, you know. It was like acne and, you know, young man finding out about himself and his body. I think music has an effect on young people today, and I think styles are changing. It is, after all, 1993, and things stagnated there in the late 80s and early 90s with just a lot of cock rock, you know, mainstream, middle-of-the-road music. It seemed like there was a blur in the generation gap, and I think things are changing now, that youth are finding an identity, and I'm all for it. Perspective is heaped upon us, and like our record, and a lot of perspective was heaped upon Nevermind, and like, what kind of record are they going to put out? What are they going to, you know, is it going to be a Screw You album or whatever? And then somebody heard these little whispers off in the distance, and they chased them down and really amplified them. And it was just a bunch of ballyhoo, you know? And I think for an establishment news magazine, major establishment news magazine to print, Newsweek, to print a full-page story on such unsubstantiated nonsense really damages their credibility, you know? Because sure, I mean, there's some dialogue between the label and the management and the band about what the record was about, but I don't think there was like a big scuffle, and I don't think that anybody deemed it commercial suicide, you know? And sure, we remixed a couple songs, but the only reason we remixed them is because us, the band, felt that the songs needed a little more, something extra. And why limit yourself, you know what I mean? You know, we always try to convey a sense of humor across, because it is, after all, only entertainment, you know what I mean? And to be ensnarled in the music industry, the music business, to take things so seriously, it's just like, well, jeepers creepers, you know, this is a luxury. I mean, we eat every day. We can buy appliances and cars, you know, and to take something like that so seriously, it's just, I couldn't imagine it. It's a real mixed bag of songs, like you know, some really fast rockers, couple stompers, and there's a couple of really mellow, nice songs, cello embellishment on there, you know.
You happy
So,
with it?
Yeah, I'm really happy and really proud of that record. I think it's the best record we could have made.
Nirvana's done pretty well in the past few years, and I wonder if it's true that money can't buy happiness.
It just depends, you know, what makes you happy. Money can buy you comfort, but emotional comfort, I mean, I'm just lucky that I have friends and family that I love and respect, and I'm really happy to be in the band and to work with Kurt and Dave, and you know, that's like one of the old, that's like a real philosophical, I mean, arguing point, you know. I mean, if you want to go out and buy some Porsche or something, you're happy with it, that's fine, but some people aren't happy. I'm happy with a 1971 Volkswagen Fastback, you know what I mean? That's what I bought, and it's taken a lot of pressure off us. You know, we used to live in these just tiny apartments, pay like $200 a month rent, and then just squeeze by every month. And I'm lucky that my wife worked. She made sandwiches at Boeing, and you know, and I'd bring home. I think my part of the deal was to pay the $200 rent, like to say that I'm paying rent here. That was my role, you know. But I mean, she carried me.